Magic, good evening, welcome to another episode of Try Imitating This. I'm Daz, and I've got some fantastic guests with me tonight. Marco's with us as he always is. How are you, mate? You good?
I'm excellent, Darren. How are you?
Excellent. Darren, is it Sunday already? Right, there you go. I've been Daz to my friends for 20 years, but there you go. Some call me Darren still, it's formality, isn't it? And Martin Ronnie, the one and only. How do we get to episode 5 without inviting you on? That's my question. How are things, buddy? You good?
Yeah, I'm a busy man. You've done well to get me.
I have, mate. We've got to make good use of the time because you're off to a birthday party in a bit, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I need to be getting off at 8ish, but yeah, very happy to be here.
Oh, right, fantastic. Well, there you go. Well, most of our guests are. And, we have a great dialogue with them. Yeah, good stuff. I just want to go through a few things, really. Anything exciting happens this week? Any fun and games or anything like that?
Not really at my end, no.
Okay, no, right.
About 5 days ago, I was in a small field with lots of celebrities at the Radio 2 in the park, and I wasn't interested in any of them. You know, I mean, I would have gone a bit closer to Pixie Lott, perhaps. She was very nice, but yeah. You know, the DJs and the Coronation Street people didn't really do it for me. But
depends who the Coronation Street people were.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind meeting Jim McDonald one day.
Jimmy. Yeah, is he still in it? Oh.
Is he like Jim?
When he was angry, he was brilliant. It was just a force of nature.
I was just thinking, is he like Jim McDonald in real life? Does he fight everybody? Right? You know, it's like.
I'd love it if he was. I'd want to be his mate.
I
want to be his mate. Like, he could be like.
Characters are dead. So.
I'd pay him like 20 quid just to be my bodyguard for an hour or something.
Well, the thing about bodyguards is like they're meant to get you out of trouble. Jim's big mouth would get you in trouble, I think. Yeah.
Oh God! Imagine it though. Film it with a GoPro.
Oh man. Yeah, Marty, that was interesting because on the Sunday it turned into an absolute mud bath, didn't it? I heard this story that you had people coming out looking like Yetis.
Oh yeah. No, It was really bad. It just got wetter and wetter and wetter. And
where was this?
It was knee deep near the stage.
Yeah. Because Arthur, who was on for a couple of episodes ago, he said he nearly got caught in a quicksand. Bless him. So
where was this?
That was on Moore Park.
Moore
Park.
Yeah.
Cricket pitches on there.
Not anymore.
It was like bowling greens.
You struggle to do rugby on there at the moment.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. I live in Chorley, and I was in Chorley. Went away, came back, and we used to have the Lancashire Show in Chorley. If you remember that, that was the old farming festival in August, and they used to do the same thing with the fields in Astley Park, and like they were just a swamp for about 2 months afterwards, and
for that reason.
Yeah. Right. It was absolute hell. You couldn't have a game of football on a Friday night after school or college or whatever because it was the same thing. It was just hell. And they're not often with these things. That is like one of those things. You've got one of the trade-offs, isn't it? Is you've got to weigh up the afters. But I guess in the case of Radio 2 in Preston, it was worth it.
Oh, it was an incredible event. Preston's never seen anything that big. Never. Sting, the likes of Sting, huge, worldwide stars.
Yeah.
I remember I did try and fail to get tickets for something in about 2007, which was Radio 1 in Moore Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like Rihanna there and stuff.
Yeah, that was a good lineup. That was the last time we had anything that big, really. We did stuff in 2012, Preston Guild. We had quite a big stuff then. We had Human League. We had a couple of very famous opera singers, if you're into that stuff. But 2007 was...
You had Brian Ferry at the Guildhall and Jackson 5 and...
Oh, yeah, going back.
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lots of big people have played the Guildhall. Didn't Morrissey get a coin in his eye at the Guildhall years ago in the 80s?
Quite famously, the Smiths did about one and a half songs and were hit by a coin and walked off, never came back.
I don't know the story, but I remember somebody telling me once in a pub in Lancaster that they were at the warehouse and Black Flag were there, and Henry Rollins got beaten up badly, and he mentions it in his book.
The warehouse. There's not a penny spent on it for like 30 years, hasn't the warehouse? It's somehow it's still upright.
People from Lancaster used to go there. They'd I don't know why they'd drive there.
Yeah.
It's like a cult place. It's still going, isn't it? Still going.
Yeah, but you get people from Morecambe and Lancaster going all the way to the warehouse in Preston.
Yeah.
Mad. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Just speaking of which, actually, obviously the sponsor of tonight's show, the Market Bottle Shop. I was in earlier. I got you've been there, Mark, haven't you? On the market.
Yeah.
I've got the moon rabbit here because I'm still having to be good because that colonoscopy made things worse. That's all I'll say. What are you on with, Marty? On the drinks front, you've got the rum, haven't you?
I've got Sailor Jerry. It's in a cracking glass, but it is Sailor Jerry. Right,
Sailor Jerry and Coca-Cola. Right,
Coca-Cola. You can't drink Coca-Cola, guys.
No,
boycott Coca-Cola.
It's an imitation brand for try.
Oh right, it's right. It's a try imitate this brand, right?
Roller.
And
oh, that's good stuff though. Do you know Corona?
Yeah.
Yeah, Largo, what you on? You're on with your Spanish beer, aren't you, bud?
Yeah, Mao.
Yeah. Right, lovely. Yeah. So yeah, speaking of beer, that was the one that came up today. Actually, I did nip into work briefly today, and they had kebabs on in the canteen at lunchtime on a Friday. And I said that's a lovely idea. It's just nobody eats kebabs when they're sober, do they? It's literally it's an impossibility.
Germans do.
Right. Well, I've never eaten the sole of a shoe, but I can imagine it's very similar to Dolomite.
Germans love them though. Germans eat them sober, like normally.
Oh my god. Yeah. Right. Well.
Yeah. If you ever go to Germany, you'll just see loads of they'll actually go to a restaurant and get a kebab. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I just said to the people at the canteen today. I said, you've got to do a deal where they get a free can of Stella with it or something like that because it's not going to work otherwise.
4X.
4X, my God. Last time I had Castlemaine 4X was in a Monday night. It was a Monday night in, it would have been Squires, about getting on like 20 odd years ago. It'd be 20 years ago now. And it was £1 a pint, but it was Castlemaine 4X. And it was Castlemaine 4X.
In Lancaster. Yeah.
It was Castlemaine 4X, and it was like, God. I've never drunk that piss, but yeah. There you go. Yeah, speaking of it, this Preston Pub Festival starts tomorrow, really, doesn't it? That's all kicking off.
Starts tonight, I think. Actually, yeah. But there's stuff on all weekend. About 14 pubs involved. Obviously, lots of beer, but lots of music on and other stuff. Yeah, great.
Is punk your main genre, Martin?
Punk? No.
Yeah.
No, pub festival.
Pub festival. Sorry,
yeah, pub festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but the pub festival would be good too.
Yeah, Lancaster has a jazz festival, so.
Yeah. All our favourite haunts are in there, and I know there's a bit of a gig going on at the Guild tomorrow, if that's your thing. But I know, we'll come to this very soon because Marty's been very important in that kind of that fusion of the music scene and the pub scene in Preston and so.
Yeah.
Making sure they're choreographed and they're synchronised. He's been central to that. A couple of other things before we get motoring then. So my friend Jeannie, who's a poet, she has been telling people that apparently she's referred to me in recent times as an international influencer. No, me neither. But she said, by the way, you'll have to plug my book for that. So I will do. There you go. There's Jane's book. It's called Fairly Tall Tales. And it is in the erotic poetry chart on Amazon. I can safely say that no one on this show has ever been in the erotic poetry chart, have they? No. Okay. You might have written a limerick or two, but there you go. The other quick one was another friend of mine, Nikki. We were talking about the yacht appeal actually, and the ongoing saga of Mr. Yacht and the lack of And so it's just a quick appeal, really. If you are a single man who happens to own a yacht and you are watching the show tonight, then get in touch. You know, the star of the show might be you, as someone used to say. Or alternatively, it may not.
What about a barge?
A barge. Well, I said that. What about what about like a Captain Birdseye style trawler? You know, or,
yeah. You go Fleetwood, you'll find plenty of them.
Yeah, and people that look like Captain Birdseye as well.
Not end. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You know, I mean, there's lots of canal boats and things like that. You know, you see plenty of them about even in like Whitley Woods or something like that. You go for a little wander, but I think she's very much got a heart set on a yacht. It's got to be the real deal. I think she said, "Think the QE2." Was that? Can you not come down slightly? No, apparently not. So there you go. So we mentioned about Martin. We mentioned about obviously the festival, the festival of the week and the pub festival. But you've really been very central to the music scene in Preston for a good few years now. I just thought maybe if you wanted to go into how you got involved with that in terms of, because you've gone from being somebody who's like in a youth band, and then you've gone to the open mic side of it, and you spent the last couple of years organising festivals. So just what your experiences are, really.
It was the open mic, really. It started meeting all these local musicians coming to play, and a lot of them got their own music, got their own songs. Very rarely get asked to play their own songs. You know, even when they come to the open mic, a lot of them play covers, just as crowd pleasers. You know, but slowly realised that there's many around Preston, greater Preston, if you like. Who do so many singer-songwriters and very few events for them to come and play their own music. So eventually, I mean, I saw an opportunity. There was some funding going, and you had to do a crowdfunder to kind of match it. And I started putting events on for these singer-songwriters. I did one in 2022.
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that well.
More than I've any right to, but we'll talk about that later.
And that went okay. So the year after, I did 4. And I've been doing those under the covered market in Preston, which is like a Victorian canopy.
Yeah.
It's an incredible place, and they built like a glass box underneath it to house the indoor market tenants.
Which is beautiful, I think, the indoor market.
Yeah.
It reminds me of it's San Miguel market in Madrid. It's beautiful.
And there's a bar. There's a bar on the corner as well.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So that tie with the Orchard, because the Orchard's like a sister pub to the Guild as well, isn't it? I mean, one of the things that struck me, there's a couple of things that have come about. How difficult was it to get the funding? Because you've obviously got to go up in front of people and persuade them that this is worth investing in. You know, and there's enough pressures on the public purse already. So, like, how difficult was that? And how did you manage to persuade people?
I think in the first year, and maybe even in the second, it wasn't too bad because the county council had this pot of funding, but you had to crowdfund the rest. But it was quite new, and there was a lot of bids going on, but there was a lot of interest in it. So it worked for the first 2 years. But this year, I'm just doing one event. It's a bigger event, but it feels like it's getting harder. The crowdfunding. I think it feels like there's less money around, and the model, that sort of funding model, might be getting a bit tired in some respects. So I'm not sure if it's got longevity, but so far it's worked for me. I've got 3 years out of it and quite a lot of events, and I've got one open right now, crowdfunding for singer-songwriters to create an album.
Yeah, you have. So that's the Best of Preston album, and there's a tie-up in that with the studio in Penrith, and
I'm thinking back now. I remember people used to People used to literally travel from Lancaster to go to a record shop in Preston. I can't remember the name of it, and it was on Church Street.
You're on about Action Records.
Action Records, that was it. Yeah, that was legendary. The part of it. You could buy music. You could buy that back then, though. I'm talking like 25 years ago. You could buy tickets for concerts there.
Yeah.
There you go. From Action Records, lads. There you go. It's a Nick Hayward single from 1997.
Wow.
So there you go.
Imagine how great it would be if Action Records sponsored North End.
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic, but why would they do that?
I'd have to do it all the way around.
No, but people did used to travel to Action Records. That's what I'm saying.
There's an equivalent in Bolton. Is it called X Records? That one.
There was another one in Preston that I remember called Andy's Records, and it was great.
Yeah.
I think that was on the Flag Market, though.
It was. That was on the corner there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I remember I used to go like Iron Maiden Records and things. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So you've got the So what are the dates for the festivals you've got coming up this year, Mike? The events you've got coming up.
So what we've got now is a week on Sunday, the 22nd of September, at the market. It's 1 till 6. It's non-stop live original music. I've got solo artist band at opposite ends of the market, so we can swap over. The music doesn't stop. So I've got four bands, 4 solo artists from all over Lancashire, all good acts, all playing their original stuff. The headline act is a band called Dead Distance. They're from Liverpool. So I'm using the old Lancashire footprint. But
Lancashire have played cricket there, so you get away with it.
So I saw them last year in Liverpool. Really liked them. The young, edgy, you know. I've got a mix of bands. I've got some. I've got an older band, and I've got a couple of real young bands. The band that's on before them are called Covert, and average age of that band is like 13. They are ridiculously good.
Wow.
Yeah, they're so good.
For school kids, that's unbelievable. It is unbelievable, and makes you wonder how good some of the people in that band could turn out being. You know, particularly whoever the writers of the songs are, and they write their own stuff as well.
They've got their own material. It's thrash. It's real thrash stuff, but they're so energetic, and their musicianship is incredible for their age. So they've got to be seen to be believed. To be honest, I've got that, and then in October 27th, at the sister pub, the Gildale Lab, which is just around the corner from the market. I've got 6 local singer-songwriters on for 4 hours. They're all doing their own stuff. I've got that out, the Best of Preston album, ongoing. I'm hoping to have that done and dusted by Christmas, put it out by Christmas, or it might have to drift into the new year, hopefully not. That will be free online on all the streaming services.
So are the spots on that record still available? Because I know the events are booked, aren't they? They're done and dusted in terms of. I know my mate John Priest's on there as well. But in terms of the album, is there still the opportunity for people who are watching this show to get themselves on there if they are a local creative? Is that in that part of the world?
If you've got a song, so if you can put 50 quid on the crowdfunder, what you get is a recording studio session worth 100 quid for that 50 quid. You'll get a professional recording of your song. Even if you don't get on the album, obviously, you know, somebody's got to make a decision what goes on the album. That's going to be me and Nick from the studio, really. But even if you don't get on the album, you'll still come away with a professionally recorded song. And I know there's a lot of singer-songwriters around who've never been in a professional studio. I mean, I haven't. And it's a real experience. So you've got to do it, you know. So it's an opportunity to do that and record one of your songs, maybe get on the album. It's an experience, and we're going to have at least 10 local singer-songwriters on this album, maybe 15, maybe 20. Depends on how the recordings go and how they turn out. But it's exciting. There hasn't been an album by a Preston singer-songwriter since 1992.
Really? Who was that?
That was done as part of Preston Guild. They got some funding. A guy called Keith Mitchell was involved, and a few others.
Well, Keith's a bit of a regional music legend. He's based in Lancaster these days, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because your stomping ground.
There's actually a band from Lancaster that are doing quite well. Well, they were last I was there at the moment, called Massive Wagons. They were in the charts in Germany and stuff.
I know them. Really good.
Yeah. They were trying to make because Lancaster University used to be a major music venue back in the day. They've had like Jimi Hendrix, Blondie, Eric Clapton, people like that there.
Yeah, it's very tuneful rock. It's rock, but it is really tuneful, and they don't make a noise for the sake of it. And it really, the Massive Wagons really suits them because it just trundles along constantly. There's no break. It's rock.
If you go into Lancaster, there's a massive mural of one of their album covers on the side of a pub called The Pub.
Yeah, I know.
It's fantastic. It's like Charles Bronson.
Martin, just so we know the deal here, so you make a donation for 50 quid to the crowdfunder, and that's on social media, on Facebook, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's on a website called Space Hive. And
we know Space Hive.
We know Space Hive for Preston. It comes at the top. That's the Preston album. Yeah.
Whisper, I might put myself down for that.
Songs, Daz.
Sorry?
You've got quite a few songs, Daz.
I have. Mind you, if you're going to have some up from Liverpool, I'm from closer to Preston than that. So yeah, you've got to put us up for consideration.
Well, Liverpool's not even Lancashire.
There you go.
But
there you go.
Preston, Greater Preston. We might just squeeze you in.
Yeah, it's a PR postcode, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, technically, Lancashire goes as far north as Ulverston.
Yeah. That's bang on the border with Cumbria then.
Ulverston, yeah.
Yeah, so like on Carnforth, that's just after Carnforth, that, I presume. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the key takeaway there is there are still spots on that album if you if you want to get yourself on there, get yourself on Space Hive, get yourself on the Preston music scene on Space Hive, and it's there. It jumps out at you like a sore thumb, basically. That's great. Yeah, great. So Space Hive, it's funny, just a little in jump between Martin and me. Obviously when you were sharing that link in the week, the Space Hive photo came up again. You know the one. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to get that done as a T-shirt.
Yeah. I don't think it was even my photo, actually. I just can't remember who took that photo.
Oh, it wasn't David Toast, was it? Or was it the guy for the LEP?
It might have been Dave Bennion, actually. I'm not sure.
I'll tell you what, because I'm glad I wasn't on that photo, because I actually got better during the day, but at the start of that day, I don't know if you know this, Largo, but on the start of the day of that music festival, I was on a 2-day bender. I had an argument with somebody on Friday, and I'd had a 2-day bender, and I'd been ill the night before, we'll just say that, and I looked like somebody who'd been ill the night before when I turned up. In fact, I look like I shouldn't be there. If it didn't work, you just said go home. Yeah.
Don't know how you did it.
Well, I don't either. I wish I'd stayed ill, actually, or gone home. But we know why that is. Yeah, but that's the other thing about that music. There's that whole kind of rock and roll element, isn't there? I mean, obviously, people get pissed as well, don't they? That's been going on. That's been part of music forever, hasn't it? That whole thing of
Bob Geldof on the wall.
Yeah, for sure. So
breaking the door down.
Yeah. Well, I broke a toilet door at the Artisan Ale House a few years ago, as it happens. That's part of local legend.
Why?
Because I think I pushed it when I was supposed to pull it. So I've been in the Artisan Ale House, had a few, needed the toilet. I went to pull this door that you were supposed to push. It was an old door, and I pulled it down.
Oh,
You know,
When you gotta go.
yeah.
oh, that's murder. When you need a pee.
The whole problem was everybody else who went after me was like a prize in a game show, you know.
Yeah, that happens on the train though, doesn't it?
When someone forgets to lock the door and they get unveiled.
Yeah, and you're unveiled like a prize on a game show.
Yeah, just look what you could have won. Yeah, but no, brilliant stuff, Martin. The thing is as well, because it all started on open mic about 5 years ago, didn't it? And it's amazing what you've done in terms of going from strength to strength, and the time that you've invested in it. And I think you get, there's a lot of respect and a lot of love for you out there.
I've really enjoyed it, and I put my first show on at the Ferret this year, and I met Joe Wiley last week doing a show at the Ferret as part of the Radio 2 thing. So things just keep happening. Great things just keep happening. So just see how long I can keep it going. And I've got a few of my own songs now as well, of course. So.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, because your Christmas record will be making the wheel of the week. We've been inspired. We've nicked your idea, but the Besotta are doing a Christmas record as well, as you know.
Yeah. Well, if you do a Christmas record, you can put it out every year. So
you can.
Get some mileage out of it.
It used to be a big thing, the Christmas #1, but I think apparently the same band in the UK, a band that I've never even heard of, it was a charity band, won it for like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
I've been out of the country, so I didn't know, but it used to be like a big thing.
Yeah.
And now it's just, I couldn't even name it.
Yeah, well, there have been some bad Christmas #1s as well, haven't there?
There's been some great ones as well.
Well, yeah, but they might wheel Cliff out for another Christmas effort. You never know, or I don't know. So I remember he's 17.
Yeah, but they weren't actually, like, Brian Harvey is actually a fantastic singer.
He's not bad. He's not bad.
He's better than the one that won it 2 or 3 times in a row, the charity one.
Well, that's not terribly difficult, but I take your point. Marty, what's your Christmas record called?
So it's called All You Wanted For Me. It's quite cool.
It is. It's nice, but it's nice in a good way.
Yeah.
And it was on the BBC. You had a little spot. I tell you, you're like a local celebrity now. Yeah, famous.
Yeah, it was on the regional channels. So it's really nice to get a play on there.
Yeah, fantastic stuff, and it'll be back out again this year. And you've even got a CD that might be available to people with. I can't believe that they cut that CD for you, because that's shoot your way out is shoot my way out on your best song. No, don't make that a B-side.
Yeah, it's currently a B-side, but who knows?
Yeah, you're on with a record as well. You're on with making an album of your own as well.
Well, I've got a couple more ready, and a couple more on the go. So I don't know if I'll get to album proportions, but when I get a chance, I like to write, and the songs that I have written, I do like them. I suppose you should like your own songs, but I enjoy playing them. So we'll just see what happens with them, really.
No, it's great stuff. Yeah, well, the Besotta are back recording soon again, and we've got to get 17 Syndrome. Actually, we'll probably just do the same as Best of Preston, put it as well free on YouTube. We'll probably just do that, because I think it's important. Being free at the point of view is based on need and not the ability to pay and all that.
Yeah, no, I think that's the way it is now, and music's more or less free, isn't it now? But
which is a pity.
It is a pity, the streaming services are taking over.
I remember the anticipation you'd feel as a kid. I mean, you might not, but I used to feel about watching Top of the Pops, because you never got to see. I mean, I didn't grow up. My formative years, we didn't grow up with like satellite TV with VH1 and MTV. So really, apart from the radio, the only time you ever really saw them performing was Top of the Pops, and it was fantastic.
But also back then, Largo, record companies in particular had the public by the balls and were holding them to ransom.
Absolutely. I remember This is how bad it was. I remember as a kid, I used to play football in the leisure centre on Saturday mornings, and I used to get my dad to record this music chart show on ITV. It was on like Saturday mornings on ITV, the Twix chart show or something. Do you remember it?
I do, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was on
and
there.
It had like information about the bands as the music video was playing.
Yeah. That was the show that famously took the piss out of Peter Ebdon's single. Remember when he covered that David Cassidy song? Peter Ebdon, the snooker player.
They used to like stop songs in the middle of them and rewind them and do weird things like that. It was a good show though.
I remember it. Yeah. So the other thing, Murray, is you're also my favourite member of the Labour Party, which also isn't terribly difficult to be fair. But I was talking to another socialist friend of mine in the week, and actually, the reality is, we've always said this amongst ourselves. There are good and bad people of all political persuasions, right? And all, nothing, no idea is perfect. I was just wondering and everything's open to the corruption of human bad behaviour. Every idea in the world, and every idea is perfect until you put humans in charge of it. So just sort of, we've got a Labour government now. You've been a Labour guy for forever. How you feel about it, really? Because it's not got that kind of wave of popularity, has it? Even though you won.
No,
you must have been happy.
Well, I was very happy to see the back of the Tories. It was terrible. It was a disaster from start to finish.
I can't think anything good they did.
Yeah. No, they've absolutely destroyed public services from top to bottom. And as a council, I've watched the council budget get halved effectively. And services and staff. The staff at our council are half what they used to be. It's half the number of staff, mostly trying to do the same thing they did before. Because the councils and the officers don't like cuts, and we've cut money where we could save money as much as possible without stopping doing anything. There's very few things we've stopped doing, but what it does affect is capacity to deliver. So if you do contact any council for a service now, chances are it will take longer to get it, if you can get it. I was very glad to see the back of them, and obviously this government's got a huge job on their hands to rebuild public.
Absolutely.
And they've come unstuck a little bit, having to
Martin, I make no bones about it. I'm a big fan of Angela Rayner.
Okay.
Keir Starmer less so. Angela Rayner, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
She's done a real job, a carer.
Yeah. She's real working class.
Outstanding human being.
Yeah.
I'll give her, I'm not a big fan of Angela Rayner, but I will give her this. She's got far better dance moves than Michael Gove has.
But she's gone out there, she's done the job working in nursing homes, literally cleaning people, caring for people. She's actually done a hands-on proper job, and it's so rare you get that in politics. You might get some ex-tough military officer or something like that, but this woman's gone out, clocked on, done long shifts, outstanding person. I love her. Yeah, she's great.
Well, let's see though if that transmits into into real empathy with the plight of people generally, not just working people, middle class people as well. Because the big challenge.
Obviously, Martin's in the Labour Party. I'm not going to put him in the awkward position of me saying the members of the Labour government I don't like. So I'm just going to say the ones I do like. No,
that's fine. Mine's a grown man. He'll live. Right, but the thing is, it's. The thing is about with any new government is they've got to govern for the people who didn't vote for them as well. I think I'll just come to your point in a second about that, about what you were making there, Mark. But that's the thing for me. So the people who would normally vote Conservative, you've got to you can have one eye on them as well. People who aren't typical Labour supporters. I was just wondering, with stuff like this with the winter fuel and this smoking ban, which nobody discussed during the election at all. I'm just wondering how members are feeling about that, because they've got the fear of own goals about them.
I think most Labour members and even elected members, when the government comes out with a policy, you get differences of opinion right across, just like everybody else who are not Labour members. But what you've got to do is if you're in the party, you've got to support the government as much as you can, so that they can carry on doing the job. Because we want them doing the job and not the other guys. So you can't, you can't slam the government for everything they come out with, even if you don't like it, because they come in on a promise to fix the big things, and we've got to give them a chance to do that. Let's judge them in a few years' time, not after a few weeks.
Martin, I was wondering if you could explain, just for people watching, what is the Preston model and why is it so successful?
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my lights on because it's gone very dark in here.
Okay.
Right. A bit better. That's better. So I'm a councillor in Preston, and we've become very well known. The last 10 years, we've been doing something that's got called the Preston model. We didn't call it that at first. I think we called it our fairness agenda because we just wanted things to be more fair, and a better distribution of resources. And it's part of a movement now called community wealth building. So it is about society and institutions and more people owning more wealth rather than what we've got now, where we've got a very small number of people owning most of the wealth. So that's what it's basically about. In Preston, what we did, we hired some consultants who'd done a bit of this work with Manchester Council already. There's nothing really new in it, but we pulled a lot of strands together, and it's got called the Preston model. So we got them to study where we were spending our money, and also other local public institutions like housing associations, the university, colleges, the police. Find out where they're spending their money. Where does that public money go when they buy goods and services? And it turned out that Preston was spending quite a small amount in the local area. Most of it was going out to other towns and cities, buying goods from there, especially the southeast, and some of it even leaking abroad. And so we got all these institutions together, got them talking about it, and we started, how can we do better? How can we spend more of our money here to benefit the people of Preston here? I mean, eventually, because of the nature of capitalism and advanced capitalism, a lot of that money is going to leak out anyway. But the longer we can keep it circulating here, the better. And the more we spend here, the more chance it circulating a bit longer. So Preston Council doubled its spend in the local economy in 2 years, and there were other public bodies that did even better than us in that period, and we trapped an extra 70 million in Preston in 2 years. And because of the nature of capitalism, a lot of that money leaked out, went over the boundaries of Preston. When we were trying to buy local, we ended up buying in, nearby towns rather than the southeast, and we spent an extra 200 million in Lancashire.
Fantastic.
In just 2 years. Now we haven't repeated that study. That was something like 2013 to 15. We haven't repeated it. We're probably going to do a bit more work on the stats behind it, but we knew it worked. So we've done it once. We've done the study. We know it works. It's not just about spending local, because spend locally is probably an old Tory thing. Actually, that's not something new. But what we wanted to identify was whether there was enough money to start worker co-ops. So instead of buying things from miles away, can we do them here, and can they be worker cooperatives? Because worker cooperatives, all the money stays in that business. It doesn't go out to shareholders.
Fantastic.
So we've started quite a number of cooperatives in Preston now. Nothing of any scale, because we don't have a massive amount of money to put into it. But there's a place, Cleveland, Ohio, where the university there had loads of money, and they started co-ops, and they just poured money into it because they had it, and they've got several quite big cooperative companies where everybody's earning decent money. All the profits stay within those companies. We visited a place in Spain called Mondragon.
That's right.
It's relatively small place in the Basque region of Spain. Has got 100 cooperatives in one small area, and they've been developing them for it's about 80 years now. And but they also have a whole social system around it. They have a social welfare system built around it. They have their own bank, so the bank protects them. The bank works for them. It doesn't work for the capitalists. They have their own university. They have their own management training system. Place. It's just an incredible place, and that really inspired us visiting Mondragon. And when we came back, I said, well, we need a regional bank that looks after co-ops, looks after small businesses, and we're trying to start a bank, believe it or not. A small council called Preston is trying to start its own bank, which is it's very difficult to start a bank in this country, even though we've been trying for years. We're probably still at least 2 years away, but we won't stop trying because we know it's crucial to the whole model, because the high street banks, they don't lend, they lend to hardly any small and medium-sized businesses.
So would that be a bank that was open to everybody? Just say somebody wants to open a current account, or?
Our vision is a bank that does that, but also is open to lending more to, supporting the co-op sector, but also small and medium-sized enterprises who can't get loans from the high street banks. But we do envision it to be a high street bank in that effect. Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Right. Just a quick, what sort of level of public money would there be in that bank? Obviously, the risk is the loss of public money, isn't it? And I presume you have really encountered opposition and questions to it. So, how much public money would be going into this, like the foundation of that bank? Your point about how difficult it is to start a bank in the first place. There've been documentaries about that you'll have seen. It's hell. But I mean, what's the risk in terms of public money? Because this is one of those things that councils have got themselves caught up in a bit where they go capitalist, does it?
So you need 20 to 30 million to underpin the bank initially. Once the bank's established, years down the line, you might actually be able to get your money back. But of course, that money's at risk, like anything. But I mean, the market research has been done. You only need about 3% of the banking customers in the whole Northwest make it pay. So it's all been studied. It's all been done. This is not done on the back of a fag packet. This is.
I didn't think it had been, but obviously there are enormous risks involved. And there's plenty of stories about people get.
It's capital. So councils have two types of funding. They have capital funding and revenue funding. Revenue funding is the money they spend every day on wages, services, stuff like that. But they also have capital funding, and they have the capacity to borrow huge amounts of money. Public services. There's government funds where you can go and borrow, and capital funding is much easier to get for councils than it is for businesses. And 30 million is not really a huge amount of money. Preston Council is spending 45 million building a new leisure complex because we have the capacity to borrow the money, and the private sector are not doing it. They're not rebuilding the city centre with the things that we want. There's investors coming in and building flats and stuff like that. But we need leisure there. We need a cinema. We need a restaurant and a bowling alley.
Well, that's good. That's going up by the market, isn't it? At the moment,
that will be council owned. So in the future, if it starts to make a profit, all that profit goes back to the taxpayers. We can spend it on them. But we can borrow 45 million fairly easily. So 30 million for a bank, it's not really that much when we're talking about a regional bank and we can get lots of partners in to spend the money.
We've all, just thinking of those horror stories. They're quite funny, actually. The ones where you get people who borrow business grants or get loans and they run away and things like that. Stories like that.
course.
But the other thing is, if you are thinking of robbing a bank in Preston, please don't rob Ronnie's bank. Okay.
Yeah, but to get a banking license, you've got to go to the Bank of England. It's very, very strict. You know, you can't use fly by nights.
Oh, right, okay, right.
Martin, I have another question in your capacity as a counsellor. Avon Park. I noticed when me and Darren were walking through Avon Park. Avon Park used to have some love. I remember when my dad was alive. We used to. He was a big fan of Avon Park, and we used to walk around there. And there was like some bandstand type things where he used to like to sit. They're all closed now. Why is that?
So there was a bandstand years ago that got knocked down, and we built like a cafe thing.
No, but it was like a shelter.
There's like a couple of shelters. They lock them up. They do lock them up from time to time. They're not locked all the time.
Oh, okay.
I think there's an old sort of stone building called the Belvedere, and there's like an old sort of shelter, like you say, that does have gates on the front, and it's just for security, but it is open quite a lot.
Good. That's really.
Yeah.
My dad was very fond of that park.
Well,
it's good to see you've got
and it's raining. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see you've got a cafe down there now, and it's used, and there's lots of people playing cricket on it, and this, that, and the other, and it's great.
A showcase park, you know, it really is. It got a lot of money spent on it a number of years ago. It was lottery money, but it was an incredible showpiece, Victorian showpiece, and it's pretty much back to its former glory.
It's the best in the country, no question. The best in the country.
Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic. Yeah, well, it's not bad at all. So just one other quick, I wanted to pick up on this. We are thanks for being with us again, Roddy. We've got about 10-15 minutes left. We're just coming up to 10, so don't wait. Just one of the stories has been back in the news. It's been back in the news quite a bit recently. It's the trial and attempted retrial of the alleged killer nurse Lucy Letby. I don't know if either of you have seen that or any comment on it. It just seems very interesting the way the tide has turned on that one awfully quickly after she was convicted of another one as well. And I find it very odd the way this is suddenly going to do this sort of tug of war in the media between these two different media narratives. The one that says, "Oh, she's innocent," by the way, and the other one that says, "No, she isn't," and and the parents are outraged. I just wonder if either of you got any thoughts on that and what might or might not be going on.
It's a strange one, isn't it? On to be convicted, and so soon afterwards, there's people casting doubt on it. I think the problem is it's a large amount of circumstantial evidence that was put together.
Yeah.
You know, it's a horrible case because we're talking about babies.
Yeah. It's a motive.
It's be very hard for the families seeing all this stuff.
Yeah.
It must be, but at the same time, if it's even possible that we've got an innocent person in jail for the rest of her life for things she didn't do, then we've got to do that, and we've got to reopen it. That would be my observation about it. That if that even might be what's happened, then.
But there's a process, isn't there, for that? There's a process, and if there's enough evidence, that process will start. But at the moment, they're still convicting her for other stuff.
Yeah, well, the problem for me is, Mark, you're right, absolutely. The thing is, there was quite a bit of circumstantial evidence pointing towards, but there was like the Texas sharpshooter fallacy thing, because yes, there was this thing. They made a lot of this thing that she was on shift for when all these babies died, but there are also babies dying when she's nowhere near it, and those cases were excluded. And David Davis, the MP, I know, Largo, you mentioned him. He's one of the few Tories you quite like, I think.
I mean, he seems perfectly affable. He seems honest, put it that way. Yeah. Like you said, he passes the parcel test.
He does, yeah. You'd leave him with your delivery. You wouldn't mind his house signing for it. Yeah, it'd be fine.
No.
It wouldn't go missing.
Which is good enough.
Yeah. But he's big on this. He wants this reopened, and he's leaning towards she probably didn't do it, or there certainly isn't. Because the thing was, Marty, for me, there was no smoking gun evidence, There was nobody ever said, I actually saw her hurting a baby or deliberately harming a baby. There was nobody saw her do anything. And there was no deadly evidence. And a lot of the, where they've done autopsies and post-mortems into the deaths, they're all ruled as sort of natural causes, or the baby was born ill and just didn't stand a chance, or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
There's no motive either, is there?
No, obviously. And then she's not got any criminal history.
Never come out with a motive. Why? Well, and they've not made out that she's, got some sort of mental health issue that's caused it either. So it is a strange one. But all that evidence is tied up, and they found her guilty. And unless somebody comes up with, something else other than speculation, she's got to stay where she is.
Yeah, but I think the question in this case is, and it would be, should the jury not have found her guilty? They were away for quite a while, weren't they, the jury as well? They were gone for a long time, and actually, I've always understood it to be beyond a reasonable doubt. So I want, beyond a reasonable doubt is I want some proper evidence. Circumstantial's fine, but I want that cherry on the cake piece of evidence that you can wrap the circumstantial around. Yeah, and it's not there. It's not there in this case at all. Yeah, but coincidences happen. Do you know what I mean? They do happen. And it's whether that conviction's safe, and it's whether that jury actually got it wrong. I think that's maybe what the appeal court needs to look at, if there's a mechanism to do so. It would be, but the thing that's caught my eye with that one is like we said, Mike, is the speed with which the narrative's turned round. It's gone from she's a monster to she might be innocent, like that.
Yeah. The trouble is with social media now, the media can be an absolute frenzy, can't it? The narrative will change on social media, but that doesn't necessarily change the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The fact is, as it stands, she's a convicted murderer. We'll obviously follow that with interest, and there'll be more to follow. Yeah.
Daz, I just noticed the time's getting on. Should we press Martin on any North End questions?
Yeah, we've got a few minutes. I've got a few minutes left. Yeah, because you've got to go within 5 or 6 minutes, and you've got Dave Hindle's birthday party. Have you? Is that right?
It is.
It is. Well, send him my regards, will you? Yeah, he's lovely guy. Yeah, we are in a unique position to varying degrees. We are all supporters of Preston North End. I don't go to many matches anymore.
More than me.
Yeah, but you're in a foreign country.
I've got a VPN, so I can listen to Radio Lancashire now, which is not as good as it used to be, but there we go.
Yeah. So what's Marty? I thought we'll have a good top 10 list, don't we? But we don't have to be a top 10. But just maybe just reflect on some of your favourite Preston North End players. Maybe might be a good couple. Oh
wow! I mean, I'd be going back. To sort of 70s Alex Bruce time and 80s John Thomas, who got called the Gary Lineker of the low divisions by Andy Gray on Sky in the 80s. And then you're moving forward to like Ricardo Fuller, Brian Mooney in the 80s, of course.
In the early 90s, the plastic pitch ruined his knees, didn't it? The other thing he used to come down on that. It wasn't plastic. It was like it was made of concrete. Wasn't it? It was a horror pitch.
That's what they said. Yeah.
I think
I've got a great story about the plastic pitch actually, because when they were laying the plastic pitch, that summer, me and my mate climbed over the wall into North End, and just to have a look at it, really.
Yeah.
And then we were at one side, and we saw like a torchlight, and somebody had seen us climbing over, and they must have called the police, security guard, and a police officer, and an Alsatian, a torch. And anyway, we managed to hide, and they didn't find us, and we got away with it. I actually managed to get a piece of plastic pitch while there's little bits lying around, like they were piecing it together.
Oh right, yeah. Well, people got pieces of it at the end after the Torquay game as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They ended up in people's gardens and stuff. Sorry.
think they sold the turf when they dug that up, and then they sold the plastic pitch when they dug that up.
Yeah, but there was hardly any plastic pitch left, was there? It's probably been turned into doormats or something. You know, it was funny one, that Torquay one, when everyone ran on the pitch. It was obviously the end of an era. And I remember the following season, Preston had to play like 8 games on the spin away from home because the pitch still wasn't done, was it? It was still yeah. I like some of the names you mentioned there. So I know Brian Mooney was absolutely wrecked by that surface, which is funny because Preston players used to wear tights. I was having to explain that to somebody. No, they really did. They really did have to wear tights. So people.
I remember a game on the plastic against Carlisle United. I think Carlisle won 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. Yeah, Preston had a player sent off.
Trying to walk back to the train station, and it was like Troubles era Belfast or something. It was mad. I've never seen it that crazy before. Carlisle of all teams.
No, because Carlisle United regard Preston North End as their derby. That's why. Because Carlisle, that is like, because there's a big gap. Big
Darlington or
no, Carlisle it's up in Cumbria, isn't it? It's the closest sort of decent sized football club. Darlington's up like Newcastle way, isn't it? Middlesbrough.
Oh.
Yeah, distance-wise, there's probably not a lot in it, but there's nothing near them, is there? You're talking about Barrow. There's only Barrow.
Oh, Barrow were non-league though when we were kids.
Yeah. So their local derby was us. It really was.
So were Morecambe as well. They were non-league.
Yeah, but they've only got it league in last sort of what 10,
20 years.
2007.
20 years. Yeah.
But
2007.
70s and 80s. Yeah, Carlisle was a big game. Yeah.
Carlisle were in the first division for one season in the 70s as well. The one I remember from that list you mentioned was Fuller, and it was such a frustrating sod, Fuller, because he was very much a mood player, and there were lots of days when he couldn't be asked, or he'd rather be in Manana's after the game than playing it. We used to see him out quite a lot actually. But when he was in the mood, when he could be bothered and he was motivated, which was probably one game in every 3 or 4, he was effing brilliant, wasn't he? He was just, that directness he had, and people were scared of him. He would just run at people and create chaos.
He's one of the best players we've had as an actual signed player. We've had some good loan players.
Yeah.
And, we had Jordan Pickford for quite a while.
Yeah,
Carlo Nash was better. Yeah. Carlo Nash, though, come on.
Yeah, a lot of people.
It's just a bit of a bad line there.
Oh, sorry, mate. Carlo Nash, he was a goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah. My favourite, though, will always be Mark Rankin.
See if we come back. I'm back. Elsie, is everyone back?
I can
hear you. I can hear you, mate.
Yeah, great. Marty, you back yet?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just cut out for a minute there. So so Fuller was great. And I used to have a couple of good goalkeepers as well. I used to have Carlo Nash. I always like good goalkeepers. But in terms of
goalies, it was bizarre. We had Sam Johnston, and we had one after another. Really good keepers.
Yeah.
For a number of years.
We had Jordan Pickford for half a season, didn't we?
Pickford, yeah.
Yeah, he nearly got us. Nearly knocked. He was in the goal when we played he was in the next when we played the penalty shootout against Bournemouth in 2015, was it?
Well, the thing was that when Sunderland were relegated, and they had Vito Manoni in goal. I was thinking, God, the guy you've got on loan at Preston is a lot better than your current goalkeeper, like a lot better. And that's why they called him back halfway through the season. They sent the wrong one out, I think.
I just noticed it's 8:00 in your country.
It is. So yeah, and we were done 59 minutes. So just Rolly, is there anything else you want to anything you want to wrap up with, or just?
No, come to my show, Best of Lancashire, Sunday, 22nd September at Preston Market, 1:00.
Yeah, and if you want to get yourself on the Best of Preston CD. Or the YouTube equivalent of, then get yourself on Space Hive, which I'll have as a T-shirt very soon. And that could be you. Yeah, but it's going to be 50 quid. It's a 50 quid donation, and you'll have something to take away anyway from the studio. It's make a contribution to it, because you'll have something to take away, because the studio in Penwith with Nick and Claire is fantastic, isn't it? It's really
Brilliant.
supportive, and a lot of skill involved. Right. Great experience.
Brilliant.
We both know. All right, anything from you, Marco?
No, I'd just like to say thank you for Martin. I've really enjoyed talking to you. You've been fascinating.
No, brilliant. Likewise, always a pleasure. Yeah, thanks for putting up with when I was pissed. How many times? I don't know how many times, but there you go. He even let me sleep on his sofa once when I missed the last train. Yeah, there you go. Right. Has Mrs. R forgiven me yet? Right.
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah, so I guess okay. It's okay. There's scarier women than her, even in the Preston area. I will. We'll leave it at that then. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Marty, for being a guest. Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, you want a quick one before you get out to that birthday party. Yeah. Okay. Try not to involve. Yeah. Try not to get involved in any psychos. That's my job. Right, nice one. Thank you both. And next week's guest, I'm planning to get a very special guest on the show. A guy called Mark Windows. It'll be him next week, next week or the week after. I'm just sorting that out.
Brilliant.
But thank you, everybody, and good night.
Good night, guys.